Are you an electrician and you want to know how it is in Canada? Watch this video to know how. Hello, people! Welcome to this week's interview. In this interview, I talked to Richard Enyimu. He immigrated to Canada from Uganda. He left Africa and came to this cold country. He is an electrician and he shared with us tips and advice about how to get into the area in Canada. Once again, I'll ask you hit the button like, leave your comments, and share. This will help us a lot. Let's go to the interview. Welcome to this week's interview. This week I have a very special guest. It's a friend I have met here in Canada. His name is Richard Enyimu. He's from Uganda. Richard, aside of
Yes.
these informations, could you introduce yourself and let our seers know you a little bit better?
Oh, yes. Yes, it's correct. My name is Richard Enyimu. I would pronounce that better. And I'm from Uganda. Yes, and it's been almost 7 years since I moved here. I have a wife here, and I have two kids. One is 10, and the other one is one, a little bit over one.
The second question is why are you in Canada? Why did you leave Uganda and move to Canada?
Yes, my wife is born here. All her parents are from here in Canada. When she came to Uganda in 2008, that's when I met her, and we were friends. And we kept in touch when she got back here. She was still going to school. And then we started dating when she visited Uganda again. And we got married later on in 2011. And then we stayed there a little bit, and then we decided we're gonna move to Canada, and that's why I'm here today.
So when you came to Canada, you kind of had a family here, right? You met your wife there, or she met you there, right? And then you got into a relationship with her. So you moved here. What
Yes,
were your challenges in your adaptation to Canada?
I think my challenge number one was the weather. It was very cold. Of course, it doesn't snow in Uganda whatsoever, so this was a big difference. So, and my challenge number two was basically the food. I enjoyed the food the beginning because I was, it's new thing. I don't miss the food in Uganda yet, but after, like, 4 months, I started really, really missing food. That was my challenge number two. And then, most importantly, number three was the people. As I lived here more, I started missing the people back home. So that was really, really one of the biggest challenges after being here for 1 year. I was here 1 year before I got my job or even my permanent residence. So that time between waiting, it was a lot to do with missing people back home. Yeah, those are the main three challenges that I found before I started work, just being here.
Forgive my ignorance. In Uganda, did you speak English already? Is English your native language?
I spoke English, but it's not my native language. I speak Ateso, that's my native language. And Uganda has more than 45 languages, as many as the tribes are. But I learned English way before, almost before I started school. I lived with my uncle who spoke English because he was a lecturer in the university. So I learned English from home, and especially from watching TV. That I watched TV purposely to learn more English. And so by the time I go to school, I was able to speak some English. So that helped me a lot to develop my journey here because I knew some English there. So English is our second language, let's say, in Uganda.
I am wondering, so you have a fiancé that says, let's move to Canada. It's my home country. And you say, because you are in love, you say, yes, let's move to Canada. And so you left your whole family back in your country. You alone, you yourself moved to Canada. I can imagine that at some point you wondered if you had made a mistake, if you regretted. Did you regret after those 4 months? How was the feeling?
Quite frankly, I wouldn't say regret moving here as much. I think one thing I would have regretted was not really taking school very seriously in Uganda, because later on when I got a job, I realized that I needed more school in order to pursue my career here. That's the only regret that I would have. But moving here, I think it has made us better as a family. I think it was a good idea to move here.
In your immigration, in your transition from Uganda to Canada, looking back, do you feel you have made mistakes in your immigration? Is there anything that you would, if you could, you would go back and do it differently? I ask that to let people who are watching to learn with our mistakes. I have made many mistakes as well. So they will learn with us, with our mistakes, and fortunately, they won't make the same mistakes as we did.
Mhm. I think that's a very good question, and it's very interesting. I think the biggest mistake I would say was myself expecting my culture and my traditions to continue when I move here. It's a different country, different culture, different traditions. The way you approach people is very different. I think the mistake, if it is a mistake, it would have been I should have looked closely into what I'm getting into socially as a culture, the things that I should accept, that it's not, this is not Uganda, this is Canada, and this is how people interact. The only thing I would say is I should have paid more attention to the cultural difference and then accept to adapt. Even in your mind, it's better to be prepared than to be taken by surprise.
That is awesome, Richard. I have made other interviews and I am constantly telling people you have to leave Brazil behind and open yourself to the Canadian culture. Here is somebody from Africa saying the same thing. Like, thank you that you are joining me in the choir to say the same thing. Here in Canada, you work as an electrician. Did you have experience as an electrician before, or this is a completely new career for you?
I did not have an experience, and that is if we go back to the question regrets. If I knew that I was moving here to be an electrician, that would be one of the things that I would have paid attention to. I did not have an experience as an electrician. I was working as a social worker in Uganda and also as a counselor. And I was also working as a youth pastor, in Uganda. So coming here, and I bring back the aspect of the culture and the social aspect. I could not continue my career in Uganda here because I realized that I will fail because I don't understand the culture. So the best thing I did was I need to go into work on skills. I need something that will, that I can do, work with a few people, and just have a small circle. So electrical, I just started it here. I didn't do it in Uganda.
What it takes to be an electrician in Canada? what are the steps you had to take in order to become an electrician?
So you need to have your grade 12 or your GED, that is the high school diploma. That's what you need to have here. If you have that back home, the Service Canada here and the Canada Immigration, they will help you to translate your qualification back home to the standard here. And if it does not match, they will make you study to challenge an exam. You will be at the same level as the electricians who want to begin a career here. I did the GED here. I also had to improve on my English. You need to be able to communicate in English very fluently. I mean, I don't want to put a bar, say very fluently, but if you're very fluent, that is an advantage because there are still some people who struggle. If you're doing this exam here, it's not just the English, it's mathematics. They will test you in also a little bit of social and science. It's all in that GED exam. So the high school diploma is what you need to start with.
Okay, and then after that, you go for a college, a post-secondary course, right?
If you have that, you just apply for electrical job with a company. If you have that, the thing is you get a job first. That's how apprenticeship works. You get a job, and they ask you if you're ready to become an electrician, and then they register you with the apprenticeship board. Apprenticeship board is a different government that governs all the trades, the plumbers, electricians, carpenters, you name it, right? And once your name is there, those are the people who will actually give you that exam, the entrance exam you need, to start education as an electrician. So as an apprentice for first year, second year, and third year, you work for 1,500 hours, and then you go to school. So we work fast, get some skills on, and then go to school. And I went to SAIT for my first, second, third, and fourth year in SAIT before I got my ticket.
Okay, let me see if I understood. So you finish your high school. In high school, do you see anything related to electrical work, related to the profession?
Yes, physics and math, especially mathematics across the board. And of course, English does not skip any step. You have to be able to communicate. So that one is definitely a must. But the mathematics is there. Like if you fear mathematics, I would say get used to it right now before you apply, because there is a lot of math and physics application that you will meet in the electrical school and even at work. So yes, there is a relationship there.
Then you finish high school and you find a job. You find a company who is willing to hire you and train you, and teach you the basics. I understand is not teaching the whole thing of working with the electricity, but they will teach you some degree. Meanwhile, you go to the board and register saying, "Look, I want to be an electrician," and then you start being monitored to become an electrician, right?
Yes, that's pretty much how it is. Yeah, it's like you're doing two things at the same time. You're dealing with the apprenticeship board to get you ready for your school as you work with the electrical company, and they work together. Your
Okay.
company and the apprenticeship board works together. There is a book that they sign. Your company signs to tell them that this individual has finished this many hours, or he has worked this many hours, is ready to go to school. If you take too long working and you don't go to school, the apprenticeship board will call you and say, hey, you need to go to school. It's time to go to school. So they work hand in hand. But the company will not push you to go to school. You have to discipline yourself to manage your hours and know that I'm ready to go to school. I have enough skills. I have enough hours.
Okay, so 1,500 hours is the minimum for you to apply to school.
Yes, but you can also, other people, when they start going to school, they can actually do the whole school, right? You can do first, second, third, and fourth year, but you will not become a journeyman until you gather all the hours. So you add 1,500 times 3, and then you add 3,500 for fourth year. Yes, so you'll be working for a very, very long time in order to get those hours and then get your ticket. And also it's very critical that you go to school and go to work. If you alternate them, it's easy to understand what you're doing at school as compared to what you're doing at work. It's possible for you to go to school. Once you get your first 1,500 hours, you can go back to back and finish all school. And then you get your ticket after all the hours have been made.
You mentioned a word that I'm quite sure our viewers back in Brazil have never heard, which is the journeyman. What is a journeyman?
So the journeyman, the word itself, apparently it came out from long ago. People who do construction, they travel from place to place to do construction. So they take a journey to another place. And then that's where the word journeyman came from. And so this is the qualification that after you finish all your school, after we're talking fourth year of your education as an electrician, you get a certificate as a journeyman. That means you're a qualified electrician. You are allowed to work anywhere in the place that you registered to work. Other provinces near you might also be able to take you in. Now, I'll just go ahead and explain one other level, which is called the Journeyman Red Seal. The Red Seal in Canada is it's another exam that you do, and if you pass it, you can work in any province in Canada. If you are a journeyman in Alberta, here in Calgary, if you go to Saskatchewan, they will say, no, you need to write your Red Seal in order to work here as a journeyman. So those are two differences. So journeyman is the final certificate qualification as an electrician, and Red Seal is to work anywhere in Canada besides Quebec.
Richard, now I'm curious. You said that when you finish high school and you find a company that wants to hire you, and so you start working there, and I imagine you work just as a auxiliary to the electrician. You are not responsible directly for the work. You are a helper, right? Uh,
Yes.
what is the difference then of you having the job, you are putting your hours, making money, and the journeyman? What is the practical difference of getting the certificate and not getting the certificate?
Number one is the pay. Every class you finish, if you finish first year, your pay increases by a specific percentage depending on the contract you sign with the company. Third year, money increases. Fourth year, when you become a journeyman, money increases. That is the big difference. And then, of course, the other one is to work in a live electrical panel up to until your third year. That's when you're able to work. You're allowed by law to work on a live electrical panel with another electrician. When you're a journeyman, you can do any job on your own, no supervision. You're qualified to do electrical job anywhere. You can be hired by another company to do my basement, and you just come and do the basement as a journeyman electrician, and they will accept that it was wired by a qualified electrician, and the inspector will sign it.
Very interesting. Thank you for clarifying our viewers. I'm pretty sure somebody was already thinking, Well, if I don't need the certificate to work, why do I need to go to school?
Yes, it's an advantage when it comes to money, and of course, it's basically you have to. There is a limit on the electrical safety. So if you're not done after third year, working on electrical live panel will be limited to you for sure.
Then let me ask you, I get a lot of questions from people in Brazil and also in Facebook groups. I see a lot of people asking because in Brazil is the system is different. You can go to school, but you're gonna go for a course of a year, and then you can become an electrician. So they ask me, what do I need to be an electrician in Canada? Can I be an electrician? And I say to them, You can, but it's a regulated profession, which means you need a college or a post-secondary certificate to be able to work, to be
Yeah,
authorized to work.
yeah.
So if somebody who has already, let's say, 10 years of experience back in Brazil working with electricity and they move here, what would be their process? Would be the same thing? They have to go to school. They have the advantage of having the experience, but
Mm.
the school process is the school requirement is the same.
No, you can if you have experience and you think you're qualified to work with the Canadian electrical code, you can come and challenge the exam. There is an exam that you have to do. They will not let you work as an electrician in Canada unless you have challenged an exam. You can work as an apprentice, and even that you have to be registered with the apprenticeship board. What kind of apprentice are you going to be? Is it first year, second year, third year? That will be up to you and the company to categorize you. And then they will pay you accordingly to whatever apprenticeship. But to answer your question, there is an exam that you can challenge to become a journeyman electrician qualified here in Canada.
That is good news. I thought they would have to go to step zero to start all over again. That means they can use their experience, their let's say their resume, and prove that you have this amount. So you could shorten the time and jump to the third year of apprenticeship right away.
You can actually challenge the journeyman certificate if you want to. If you're very sure you can do it, there is also some crash courses that you can do under SAIT, the school I went to here. There is a crash course for immigrants or even anyone who says, there are people who used to be engineers and they want to become electricians. And some of them just think, I want to challenge an exam to be a journeyman. And you're okay to do that. If you pass it, they give you a certificate and you will be a qualified electrician. If you want to, and the problem is if you fail that exam, I think you have three chances and you don't make it, that means you will have to start from zero, because attempting to challenge that exam is proof that you know what you're doing as an electrician and you just want to prove it.
I see. I
Yes.
see. It's very interesting. And
Mm.
just out of curiosity, how much is this process? Do you have an idea of what is the investment of somebody that is going through the process?
Let's say with the school itself, we pay about, I would say about $1,000 every school year just to go to school. But the good news is the apprenticeship board and Canada, as a government, they give you back some money. When I did my first year, I paid $1,000, about $1,000. I received 700 back after school. And you get that money back after you pass. They
You
don't
have
give
to be a good student.
yes, they give you that money after you pass. There is also some money that you can receive. You can apply for other awards inside, and I've been very blessed. I have received, I think I've won 2 awards over my time of school, and this is just by applying. I would say if you pay $1,000, you are going to get most of it back. You might be losing, if you talk about losing, maybe 200.
Okay, but let me clarify to
Mm,
our viewers that
mm,
are the conditions for who is already a permanent resident. Because I'm quite sure the cost of the course is more expensive for international students. So if you are in Brazil or in Uganda or wherever you are, and you think, oh, I should go to Canada and study this course and become a journeyman, yeah, you are going to come as an international student, and for you the price is higher.
it will
Yeah.
be quite higher. Yes, yes. I'm very sure that I got most of the benefits because I was a permanent resident. The information about how much in detail it might be on the school website. I'm not very sure on the international students on that note.
Yeah, I have searched a course for business administration, and the ratio was 3 times higher than for
Mm,
a permanent
mm.
resident. Yeah, for international students, it's higher. But and regarding the exam, they have a fixed price for everybody, or it will also vary if you are international or not.
I think there is a flat rate for anyone challenging the exams. Just for the entrance exam, I think is within $100 or between 100 and 150. Just the
Oh,
entrance exam. That's all really what you need. And then for the person challenging the journeyman, I know it will be more than that. You're probably looking between 800. I'm not too sure. I don't want to misguide on that one. That could be another information we can find at the Alberta Apprenticeship Board.
if you are interested, I will put here below on the description of the video, I'll put the link to SATE and also to the apprentice board. Regarding the course, Richard, it's 4 years. How hard did you find it? Was easy to study? Can you give us a sense of how hard is the course?
To me, it was extremely hard. It was very, very difficult because I had about 10 years between the time I was at school last in Uganda and then I had to start over again. That made it very difficult to remember the all my basic math and all that physics. To some people, just comparing, I've met some immigrants, people from Nigeria. I've met people from Guinea and Ghana. There's a lot of immigrants. School for them is also a holiday. So it really depends on where you are sitting academically. If it was long when you went to school, it will be very difficult. I worked very hard, very, very hard. I worked twice as hard to get my apprenticeship. School was very stressful for me personally, but I thank God I made it. But I put a lot of hours, more than I did at work.
So my next question, actually, I have to rephrase the question because I
Mm,
would ask you if it's difficult to find a job, but actually the process itself it starts with a job, right?
mm,
You
mhm.
first find a job, find a company to take you in, and then you start studying after acquiring the hours. Uh,
Yes.
so my question is there is there a good demand for professionals? Let's say people who are planning on immigrating and they are not sure if they will have a job here in Canada. How is the demand for electricians?
Quite frankly, electrical here is it moves with the weather. Summer like this is becoming nice. That means there is more construction. When winter comes around November, they start laying off and there will be less demand for electricians. It's just going up and down. And also, as you know, our province here, it works with the oil. When there is more oil, there is more jobs. So electrical jobs are as challenging as finding any other job, really. But if you have a shot at it, I would say during summer is when there is a lot of construction. I'm sure you'll find a job.
What tips can you give to those people who are already in the field? They have
Mm.
experience back in their home countries and they now are thinking of immigrating. Or to those people who have no experience but they plan to become an electrician. What would you be your tips for them that want to immigrate and pursue the career here?
I would say it's a very good idea. Be open-minded, always be willing to learn. For me, the country I come from, the technology is not as good as here. There is new machinery coming every time, and they keep upgrading the code book. I would say be open to learning. If you have a different way of doing things when you move here, I would say that ask how you should do it first before you do it your way. It's good to be very open-minded here. It's also a good thing for employment. If you're someone who is willing to learn, accept when you don't know how to do it, and then they show you, and then you retain that information and do a good job at it. If you've been doing this for years and you're willing to come here, come with an open mind. It's a new Canadian code book. The rules will be different, so expect that. So be open-minded, be willing to learn however much you know. And then those ones who are new, I must say that it's possible. It's very challenging to go through school, but it's possible because when you put your mind to it, I know you can achieve it because I did myself.
Those are great tips. I'm sure whoever pays attention to them will have an easier path here. At least easier than what you had, right?
Yeah.
My last question, Richard, is has been 7 years since you left Uganda, and I know you are just 1 year older than me here. I've been in Canada for 6, and the more time we spend here, the more we miss things back home. Anyway, I'm gonna ask you: are you happy in Canada? Did it pay off for you to immigrate?
I'm happy here. I must say that I've achieved a career in Canada. It's peaceful in Canada compared to back home. Employment is almost guaranteed compared to back home, and we are talking comparison here. I think it's been worth it. What I have developed here, physically, spiritually, I think it's been worth it. I've been able to sustain my family here more than I would have back home. So moving here has been worth it. Not forgetting that regardless where life takes you, we always have to be honest people. Just be willing to adjust. Most times we can be stressed in places where we should be happy. And so don't forget to count your blessings in any place that you are in.
To finish, I would ask you, is there anything that you'd like to share that I haven't asked you? Anything that I left behind and you think it's important for our viewers to hear?
Well, okay, one important thing, and this is what I share with Brazil, and I think about it a lot. Up here, I have my soccer boots. When you come here, it's going to be very difficult to keep up with that. It's very important. This will affect you emotionally, and it will even creep into your heart because the winter is long. The weather is not very good for our beautiful game that we like to play. When you come here, I would say just take advantage when it's nice. Play your heart out. It's good for your brain, it's good for your heart. Not forgetting, even while you're there, I think sports for me is a medicine for my mental state. I want to say that incorporating all these things we've talked about, work, we have to really take care of ourselves to be able to work. And by exercising soccer, I miss football so much. I miss it so much because I don't play enough. So when you come here, it's going to be very limited, but when you get to play, just have fun. And if you're planning to come here, maybe I would say play more before you come. Thank you.
Don't waste opportunities.
Don't waste. Yeah, take advantage.
Richard, it's been a real pleasure to talk with you. I appreciate you making time to be on this interview, sharing your experience. I will leave you to your final words and your goodbyes.
Thank you. If there is any more questions, feel free to send a message. And if I need to make any other thing clear from what I said, please feel free. And I appreciate this opportunity. And God bless you. And have a very, very lovely year.
Thank you. God bless you too. And we talk soon.
Okay, bye.
There you have it. I hope it was useful. I hope you could learn a little bit more about this profession. And if you liked, once again, I'll ask you, like the video, share, and leave your comments. This will help us. Also, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Kleuber Coach. See you next time. Bye.